Earth received the first signal on a Tuesday morning. It came through the radio telescope array in New Mexico, a pattern too regular to be natural, too complex to be coincidence. Within hours, scientists around the world confirmed what humanity had long suspected. We were not alone. Dr. Alan Foster hadn't slept in 36 hours. The xenolinguist stared at his computer screen, eyes bloodshot, coffee mug long empty. The alien message played on repeat, its strange patterns starting to make sense after countless analyses. "I think I've got something," he said to the empty room. His fingers flew across the keyboard, applying a new algorithm to the signal. The computer hummed, processing, and then produced a result that made Alan's heart race. He reached for his phone. "Director, it's Foster." The message, "It's an invitation." 3 months later, Lisa Mitchell stood before the United Nations Security Council. Formerly a diplomat with military experience, she'd been selected to head Earth's first official contact team. "The translation is clear," she explained, her calm voice belying her excitement. "The Galactic Council wants to meet us. They've detected our radio signals and determined we've reached sufficient technological advancement to join their interstellar community." General Peter Wright frowned. "And we're supposed to just trust these aliens? Reveal our location. Show them everything we've got." Lisa smiled slightly. "Not everything, General. Behind closed doors, Earth's leaders made a decision that would shape humanity's future. They would accept the invitation, but with caution. Earth had developed faster than most realized. The quantum drives, the fusion reactors, the medical advances, these would remain secret. "We present ourselves as eager students," President Kevin Simmons told the assembled leaders, "not potential threats or competitors. We learn what we can before revealing our full capabilities." The GSV Horizon prepared for departure in Earth orbit. The vessel was impressive, but deliberately understated, hiding its true capabilities beneath conventional-looking systems. Captain Greg Lawson supervised the final checks as the diplomatic team boarded. Lisa Mitchell watched Earth grow smaller through the viewport. "Do you think we're doing the right thing?" she asked Dr. Ben Harris, the team's cultural specialist. "Hiding our advances." Ben adjusted his glasses. "History suggests caution when different civilizations meet. Better they underestimate us than fear us." Lisa nodded. "Still feels like we're starting a relationship on a lie." "Call it a strategic omission," Ben replied with a slight smile. The horizon accelerated toward the coordinates provided in the alien message. While Earth's public believed the journey would take years, the ship's classified quantum drive activated once they cleared the solar system, collapsing space before them. Captain Lawson addressed the crew over the intercom. "We'll reach the Nexus station in approximately 72 hours. All personnel should review first contact protocols and council species briefings." Lisa spent those hours studying the limited information they had on the council races. The Valori, ancient and technologically advanced. The Zintheri, diplomats and traders. The Makari, warriors with a strict honor code. And dozens more, each with their own agendas and biases. Ambassador Mitchell, called Dr. Susan Riley, approaching with a tablet. "Final approval needed for our technological disclosure package." Lisa reviewed the carefully crafted documents that portray humanity as an eager, developing species, advanced enough to be interesting, but not so advanced as to be threatening. "Approved," she said after careful consideration. "Let's hope they don't look too closely." As the horizon approached Nexus Station, the massive structure gradually filled their view screen. A sprawling artificial world housing representatives from hundreds of species. "Communication incoming," announced the communications officer. Lisa straightened her uniform and nodded. "Put them through." A melodious voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel, this is Nexus Control. You are cleared for approach to Docking Bay 17. Welcome to the Galactic Council." Humanity's first official step into the wider galaxy had begun. The Nexus station dwarfed anything humans had ever built. As Lisa Mitchell led her team through the docking bay, she struggled to maintain her diplomatic composure. Massive ships from various civilizations surrounded the horizon, making Earth's vessel look like a toy by comparison. "Remember," Lisa whispered to her team, "we're here to learn and observe. Stick to the briefing materials." A tall, blue-skinned alien approached them. His movements were fluid, almost like he was floating rather than walking. "Ambassador Mitchell," he said, his translator converting his melodic language to English. "I am Jexanar of the Synthuri. I will guide you to the council chambers." Dr. Christopher Evans, the team's technology specialist, studied their surroundings carefully. The energy fields, the materials, the subtle hum of advanced systems, all of it matched Earth's highest technology, but no one needed to know that. Jexnar led them through corridors filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some resembled Earth creatures, others defied description. Many stared at the humans with obvious curiosity. "Your species is quite new to interstellar travel," Jexnar commented. "The Council is eager to assess your developmental stage." Lisa smiled politely. "We're grateful for the opportunity to join the galactic community." The council chamber was a vast amphitheater with representatives from dozens of species. At the center sat 5 aliens, the High Council members who represented the most advanced civilizations. High Councilor Vaxun of the Valori studied the humans with ancient eyes. The Valori had been spacefaring for over 50,000 years, and their arrogance was legendary. "Humans," Vaxun's voice boomed across the chamber. "You stand before the Galactic Council as newcomers to the stars. Our assessment will determine your place among us." For the next several hours, the Council questioned the humans about their technology, society, and history. Christopher Evans carefully presented Earth's capabilities as impressive but limited. Fusion power still experimental, faster than light travel theoretical, medicine advanced but not miraculous. The Council seemed satisfied with these half-truths. Humans were indeed advanced enough to join their community, but not advanced enough to threaten the established order. "Based on our assessment," announced Councilor Trollax of the Makari, "we classify Earth as a Category 3 civilization. You will be granted limited trading rights and access to designated technology exchanges." Lisa maintained her grateful expression, though internally she knew Earth could easily qualify as Category 5 or higher. "Thank you, honored counselors. Earth looks forward to peaceful cooperation." As the formal session ended, representatives from various species approached the humans. Most were polite but condescending, treating them like clever children. A Valori diplomat named Zilivor spoke directly to Lisa. "Your species has potential, human. With proper guidance, you might advance to Category 4 within a century." "We have much to learn," Lisa replied humbly. Later, in their assigned quarters, the human team gathered to discuss the day's events. "They've completely underestimated us," said military attaché Josh Wilson. "The Valori think we're barely past chemical rockets." Lisa nodded, "Which is exactly what we wanted. Did you notice how freely they discussed their technologies when they thought we couldn't possibly understand?" Christopher Evans pulled out a small device and activated a privacy field. "I've already cataloged 17 technologies they believe we don't possess. 6 of them we've already surpassed." "The Zinthari mentioned a trade summit next week," said Dr. Maria Rodriguez, their cultural specialist. "Perfect opportunity to gather more intelligence." Lisa looked out the viewport at the massive station teeming with alien life. "We play the eager students for now. Earth needs to understand the politics here before revealing our true capabilities." Outside their quarters, a junior Valori aide paused briefly by their door, then continued walking. The humans' performance had been convincing, but the game had only just begun. Back on Earth, the situation was far different from what the Council believed. In a secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Jack Warren paced before a wall of holographic displays. Each showed a different Earth ship, hidden in various systems beyond Council monitoring range. "Status report on the Defender fleet," Jack ordered. His assistant, Lieutenant Samantha Powell, pulled up the data. "All 15 vessels at combat readiness. The new quantum shields have been installed on 12, with the remaining 3 scheduled for completion within 48 hours. Jack nodded, studying the ships. Each was more advanced than the vessel they'd sent to the Council. If the aliens knew what humanity truly possessed, their reaction would be very different. "And the Nexus surveillance?" he asked. "Our stealth probes are in position. Ambassador Mitchell's team is transmitting data packets during scheduled communication windows. We're getting a complete picture of Council technology and political structures." In another part of the facility, Nicole Sanders worked in a quantum physics lab that would astonish even the Valori. Her team had pushed past conventional understanding, developing technologies that manipulated the fabric of reality itself. "The phase shifter is stable," she reported to her colleagues. "We can move objects between dimensional states without energy loss." This technology alone would qualify Earth as a Category 6 civilization by Council standards, but it remained hidden from alien eyes. President Olivia Daniels sat in the Oval Office, reviewing reports from both the diplomatic team and Earth's hidden capabilities. The contrast was stark. "They think we're children playing with toys," she remarked to her chief advisor, Daniel Morgan. "Which gives us time and space to prepare," Daniel replied. "The Council isn't united. The Valori dominate, the Zinthuri resent it, and the newer species struggle for recognition. Classic power politics." "And where do we fit?" the president asked. "Right now, nowhere. That's our advantage. No one sees us as a threat or an ally worth courting." On Nexus Station, Lisa Mitchell attended a cultural exchange that epitomized the Council's condescending attitude. Various species shared their artistic achievements, while politely acknowledging humanity's developing creative traditions. A Valori cultural minister named Sarvol examined Earth music with affected interest. "Your harmonies are quite primitive, but show promise. Perhaps in a few centuries, you might develop something approaching Valori symphonics." Lisa smiled, knowing that the quantum-tuned music of Earth's avant-garde composers would leave the Valori speechless. "We look forward to learning from your superior traditions." Dr. Christopher Evans, meanwhile, attended a technology exposition where basic concepts were explained to lower-tier species. The irony wasn't lost on him as a Zinthuri expert demonstrated gravity manipulation technology that Earth had mastered decades ago. "Fascinating," Christopher said with rehearsed amazement. "So the gravitational field can be locally manipulated." The Zinthuri beamed with pride. "Indeed, though I suspect this is quite beyond your current theoretical framework." That evening, the human team encrypted their reports and sent them through quantum channels undetectable to Council sensors. Earth's leadership now had detailed schematics of Nexus Station's defenses, Council military deployments, and political relationships between major species. In their private quarters, Lisa addressed her team. "We've been invited to observe the Council's response to a border dispute in the Antara sector. It's our first chance to see how they handle crisis management. Their military capabilities appear impressive but inflexible," noted Josh Wilson. "Their doctrine hasn't been tested in genuine conflict for centuries." What none of them knew was that the border dispute would soon escalate into something far more dangerous. The Council's reaction would reveal critical weaknesses that humanity had already anticipated. On Earth, production facilities deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean accelerated construction of vessels that could outmatch anything in the Council fleets. Humanity prepared quietly, watching and waiting for the right moment to reveal their true nature to the stars. The alarm sirens on Nexus Station blared suddenly, startling the human delegation. Lisa Mitchell was in a trade negotiation with minor Council representatives when emergency lights began flashing throughout the station. "What's happening?" she asked a nearby Zinthuri official. The blue-skinned alien's usual calm demeanor had vanished. "Attack in the Meridian sector. 3 Council worlds under bombardment by unknown forces." The Council chamber transformed into a war room within minutes. High-ranking military officials from various species gathered around holographic displays showing the attacked systems. The human delegation was permitted to observe from the back of the room, considered too unimportant to exclude, but too primitive to contribute. The attacking ships match no known configuration, reported a Macquarie commander. They've already destroyed our outpost on Vega Prime and disabled the defense grid on Torval II. High Commander Zaxil of the Valori military stood tall and imposing. Deploy the 7th and 9th fleets immediately. These invaders will learn the consequence of attacking Council worlds. Lisa exchanged glances with Josh Wilson. Both recognized the tactical errors in the Valori commander's orders: splitting forces, predictable deployment patterns, failure to secure vulnerable supply lines. Ambassador, Josh whispered, their response is textbook but outdated. Those fleets will be vulnerable to flanking maneuvers. Lisa nodded subtly. Document everything. Earth needs to know exactly what we're dealing with. 3 days later, the situation had deteriorated dramatically. The Council military suffered significant losses against the mysterious attackers, now identified only as the Void Collective, from fragments of intercepted communications. The Council reconvened in emergency session. Representatives from the attacked worlds demanded more aggressive action, while others counseled caution. The 7th Fleet is completely destroyed, reported Admiral Trex of the Macquarie. The 9th is cut off and surrounded. We've lost 18% of our total military capacity. The news sent shockwaves through the chamber. Species that had known only peace for centuries now faced an enemy that moved with ruthless efficiency. Lisa approached the Council podium, a bold move for a representative of a Category 3 civilization. Honored counselors, Earth offers assistance in this crisis. While our technology is limited, we have extensive experience with conflict resolution and tactical adaptation. High Commander Zaxil's expression shifted from surprise to disdain. Your species barely understands basic space travel. What could you possibly contribute to this military campaign? Sometimes fresh perspectives can identify overlooked solutions, Lisa replied diplomatically. We require advanced weapons and ships, not primitive insights. Zaxil dismissed her with a wave. The Council has faced threats before. We will overcome this one as well. That night, Lisa encrypted a detailed report on the Void Collective attacks and the Council's failing response. Earth needed to prepare for the possibility that the conflict might spread. They're making fundamental mistakes, Josh explained as they secured their communications. Classic case of a military that hasn't faced a real opponent in generations. The Void Collective seems to know Council tactics perfectly, Lisa added, almost like they've been studying them for years. Within a week, 3 more systems fell to the mysterious attackers. Council refugees flooded into Nexus Station, bringing tales of devastation and bizarre ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. Lisa received new instructions from Earth: offer limited technical assistance while gathering intelligence on both the Council and the Void Collective. Humanity needed to understand this new threat without revealing their true capabilities. President Daniels has authorized sharing our improved sensor algorithms, Lisa told her team. Basic stuff by our standards, but it might help them track Void Collective movements better. When she presented this offer to the Council, their response was mixed. Some representatives welcomed any help, while others, particularly the Valori, saw it as an insult. We don't need primitive scanning techniques, Zaxil sneered. We need ships and weapons. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the Council, Earth's hidden fleet moved into position near the conflict zone, observing both sides while remaining undetected. Humanity watched and waited as the crisis continued to unfold. Panic swept through Nexus Station as reports arrived of another devastating defeat. The Council's primary defense fleet had been ambushed and scattered by Void Collective forces. The enemy was now advancing directly toward Nexus itself. Evacuation protocols initiated, announced the station's AI in a calm voice that contrasted sharply with the chaos unfolding in the corridors. Species representatives rushed to secure transport off the station, many abandoning their duties entirely. Lisa Mitchell watched with quiet intensity as the Council chamber descended into disorder. The once proud Valori representatives argued bitterly with the Zinthari about escape priorities and resource allocation. The Category 1 and 2 civilizations must be evacuated first, insisted High Counselor Vaxun of the Valori. Their knowledge and technology are irreplaceable, while Category 3 and 4 species are left behind, countered Representative Jexnar of the Zinthuri. This violates our founding principles. Dr. Paul Rivera, the human team's scientific analyst, approached Lisa with his personal tablet. "Ambassador, you need to see this," he whispered, showing her data that wasn't from council sources. Lisa glanced at the information and immediately recognized it came from Earth's Stealth Observation Network. The analysis was clear. The Void Collective would reach Nexus Station within 18 hours, well before most evacuation ships could depart. "Secure channel to Earth," Lisa ordered Josh Wilson, Priority Alpha. In the small communications room allocated to the human delegation, Lisa activated the quantum-encrypted link to Earth. President Olivia Daniels appeared on screen, her expression grave. "Madam President, the situation has deteriorated beyond council control," Lisa reported. "The Void Collective will reach Nexus within hours. Based on their pattern of attacks, they'll destroy the station and everyone on it." The president nodded. "Our analysis matches yours. The question is, do we intervene?" This was the moment Lisa had been preparing for since their arrival. The council is fracturing under pressure. Advanced species are abandoning less developed ones. If we reveal our capabilities now, we could save millions of lives and completely redefine our position in galactic politics. Or we could expose ourselves to a new enemy without understanding their true nature, cautioned Defense Minister Ryan Adams, visible beside the president. President Daniels clasped her hands together. "Ambassador Mitchell, you're on the ground. What's your assessment of the Void Collective? Are they negotiable or purely hostile?" "All evidence suggests they're executing a predetermined military campaign," Lisa replied. "No response to communication attempts, no prisoners taken, no apparent interest in anything but destruction." A brief silence fell as Earth's leadership considered the options. "Very well," the president finally decided. "Authorization granted to reveal Phase 1 capabilities. The Defender fleet will move to protect Nexus Station. Try to evacuate as many civilian ships as possible before engagement." Lisa felt a weight lift from her shoulders. "Thank you, Madam President." As she returned to the council chamber, Lisa found High Commander Zaxil addressing the remaining representatives. "Our final defensive fleet cannot reach Nexus in time," he announced grimly. "Priority evacuation ships will depart within 2 hours. All others must seek alternative means of escape." Lisa stepped forward. "High Commander, Earth offers its assistance in this crisis." Zaxil's expression combined annoyance with condescension. "Ambassador Mitchell, while we appreciate your species' enthusiasm, this is not a situation where primitive technologies can help." "Perhaps," Lisa replied calmly, "but you might be surprised by what we can offer." She activated her communication device. "Captain Eric Matthews, this is Ambassador Mitchell. Implementation Order Alpha." "I repeat, Alpha." Hundreds of light years away, Earth's hidden fleet powered up their engines. The GSV Defender, a vessel 3 times larger than the Horizon, and armed with weapons beyond council understanding, led 12 battle cruisers toward Nexus Station at speeds the council believed impossible. As alarms announced the Void Collective's early arrival in the system, Lisa met Zaxil's eyes with quiet confidence. "I suggest you delay your evacuation, Commander. The situation is about to change." The Void Collective ships emerged from hyperspace with frightening precision. Their black, angular vessels surrounded Nexus Station in a formation designed to prevent escape. Council members watched in horror on the main view screen as nearly 300 enemy ships took position. "All evacuation ships, return to dock immediately," ordered Station Control. "Void Collective vessels have blocked all exit vectors." High Commander Zaxil stood frozen before the tactical display. "How did they breach our early warning network? This is impossible." Lisa Mitchell calmly activated her secure communicator. "Captain Matthews, status report." The council representatives turned toward her in confusion. Before anyone could question her, a new alert sounded throughout the command center. Multiple unidentified vessels entering the system, called out as Xanthari sensor operator. Configuration unknown, count rising, over 40 ships. The command center's main display shifted to show a formation of sleek, silver-hulled vessels emerging from what appeared to be tiers in space itself. The ships moved with impossible speed, positioning themselves between Nexus Station and the Void Collective Fleet. "This is Captain Eric Matthews of the Earth Defense Fleet," announced a confident human voice over all communication channels. "Nexus Station is now under our protection. All civilian vessels remain docked. We will handle the Void Collective." Stunned silence fell over the council chamber. All eyes turned to Lisa Mitchell, who stood calmly amid the chaos. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded Councillor Vaxun. "These cannot be human ships. Your species doesn't possess such technology." "I believe I mentioned that Earth had much to offer," Lisa replied evenly. "Perhaps you should watch." The Earth fleet's movements were nothing short of miraculous to Council observers. The ships executed perfect coordination, forming a defensive barrier around Nexus Station. Their hulls shimmered with energy fields far beyond Council designs. The Void Collective struck first, launching a barrage of energy weapons that had devastated Council fleets in previous encounters. The human vessels absorbed the attacks with barely visible ripples across their shield systems. "Defensive capabilities holding at 97%, reported Captain Matthews to Lisa through their secure channel. "Request permission to engage." "Permission granted," Lisa responded. "Demonstrate our capabilities, but remember the President's order to capture one enemy vessel if possible." What followed was beyond the Council's comprehension. Earth ships fired weapons that bent space itself, striking multiple Void Collective vessels simultaneously. Other human ships released swarms of autonomous drones that overwhelmed enemy defenses. "Their weapons technology is at least Category 6, whispered a Valori scientist in shock. "Perhaps higher." The Void Collective attempted to regroup, concentrating fire on a single human cruiser. The vessel's shields flared brightly but held firm. Its response was immediate and devastating, a pulse of energy that disabled 5 enemy ships in one burst. "Tactical advantage confirmed," Captain Matthews reported. "Beginning containment maneuvers." The Earth fleet executed a complex series of jumps, appearing and disappearing around the Void Collective ships, herding them into a controlled formation. Several enemy vessels attempted to escape but were quickly intercepted. High Commander Zaxil found his voice at last. "How long has Earth possessed these capabilities?" Lisa met his gaze steadily. "Longer than you might think, Commander. Within 30 minutes, the battle had effectively ended. Most Void Collective ships were disabled or destroyed. One was successfully captured by specialized Earth vessels for later study." Nexus Station. "This is Captain Matthews. The immediate threat has been neutralized. We're establishing a defensive perimeter around the station while conducting cleanup operations." In the stunned silence of the council chamber, Lisa addressed the assembled representatives. "The Earth delegation requests an emergency session of the full council. I believe we have matters to discuss regarding Earth's status and the future security of this region." As council members stared at the view screens showing Earth's advanced fleet, the realization dawned that everything they thought they knew about humanity had been wrong. The galactic power balance had just shifted dramatically, and nothing would ever be the same. The Grand Council chamber had never been so quiet. Representatives from every member species sat in stunned silence as Lisa Mitchell approached the central podium. Behind her, Captain Eric Matthews and Dr. Paul Rivera stood in crisp Earth uniforms, their presence a physical reminder of humanity's unexpected power. "Honored representatives of the Galactic Council," Lisa began, her voice carrying clearly throughout the vast chamber. "First, let me express Earth's sincere regret for the necessary deception regarding our technological capabilities." High Counselor Vaxun of the Valori rose from his seat, his ancient face flushed with a mix of anger and embarrassment. "Necessary deception. You violated the most basic principles of council membership. You presented yourselves as primitives while possessing Category 6 technology at minimum. Lisa nodded calmly. Yes, and you classified us as Category 3 without proper investigation, then treated us with consistent condescension. The council's judgment was based on assumptions rather than facts. Murmurs spread through the chamber as other representatives recognized the truth in her words. Earth has been monitoring galactic communications for over 70 years, Lisa continued. We detected your civilizations long before you noticed us. Our history taught us caution. When species of vastly different technological levels meet, the results are often catastrophic for the less advanced. So you chose to deceive us, said Jexanar of the Zinthari, though his tone held more curiosity than accusation. We chose to observe before committing, Lisa corrected. Earth's history is filled with conflicts born from misunderstanding. We've fought wars that nearly destroyed our civilization. These experiences shaped our first contact protocols. Captain Matthews stepped forward. The Void Collective has been observing Council space for years, just as we have. But while we sought understanding, they identified weaknesses to exploit. Your military doctrine hasn't evolved in centuries because you faced no real threats. The council chamber erupted in protesting voices until Councillor Trullax of the Makari raised her hand for silence. The humans speak truth we don't wish to hear, she said firmly. Our complacency nearly cost us everything. Had Earth not intervened, Nexus Station and possibly the entire council would have fallen. Dr. Rivera activated a holographic display showing the captured Void Collective vessel. We've analyzed their technology. They're not more advanced than the council. They simply studied your predictable defense patterns and exploited them. Earth faced similar threats in our history, which is why we developed adaptable, unpredictable defense strategies. Lisa returned to the podium. Today, Earth formally requests reclassification as a Category 6 civilization and a permanent seat on the High Council. But we also propose something more significant, a restructuring of the Council itself. The chamber filled with surprised murmurs. The current system ranks civilizations purely by technological advancement, Lisa explained. This creates inherent bias and prevents valuable contributions from newer species. Earth proposes a council structure that values diverse perspectives, not just technological achievement. She gestured toward the chamber at large. When the Void Collective attacked, the most advanced species immediately prioritized their own evacuation, abandoning lower category civilizations. Is this the community of worlds you envisioned when forming the council? Silence fell as her words struck home. Many representatives looked ashamed. Earth offers its full technological and military capabilities to ensure the security of all council species, Lisa concluded. But we also offer something perhaps more valuable, a perspective shaped by overcoming our own violent history. We understand that true civilization isn't measured by technology alone, but by how we treat each other. As Lisa stepped back from the podium, the council chamber remained quiet for several moments. Then, slowly, representatives began to stand. First the Zinthari, then the Makari, followed by dozens of others, mostly from lower category civilizations who had long felt marginalized. High Councillor Vaxun watched the growing movement with ancient eyes that had seen countless changes across the millennia. Finally, he too rose to his feet. Perhaps, he said slowly, it is time for the council to evolve. Humanity's unexpected move has indeed left us speechless, but not without hope for a wiser future. And so began a new chapter in galactic history, one where humanity's greatest contribution wasn't their advanced technology, but their hard-earned wisdom about the true meaning of civilization. 6 months after humanity's revelation to the Galactic Council, Nexus Station had transformed. The rigid hierarchy that once defined council spaces had given way to a more open environment where representatives of all species mingled freely. Lisa Mitchell walked through the newly renovated Central Plaza with Dr. Paul Rivera. Earth's embassy now occupied a prime location that reflected humanity's elevated status, But Lisa had insisted on keeping the design modest compared to the ornate Valori headquarters. The integration teams report another successful technology exchange, Paul said, reviewing his tablet. The Collectory engineers were amazed by our quantum entanglement communication systems. Lisa nodded. And how are the Valori handling the changes? Better than expected. High Counselor Vaxun has become one of our strongest allies since the joint operation. The joint operation had been Earth's boldest move yet. After defeating the Void Collective at Nexus Station, Earth proposed a combined mission to the Collective's home territory. What they discovered had shocked the entire Council. The Void Collective wasn't a natural species, but artificial constructs created by an ancient civilization that had collapsed millennia ago. Their attacks on Council space were programmed responses triggered when they detected certain technology signatures. The Council's standardized development had inadvertently activated these ancient defense mechanisms. Captain Matthews is returning today, Lisa remarked as they approached a viewport overlooking the docking base. The mapping expedition was a complete success. Below them, the GSV Defender glided into its designated berth. The massive Earth vessel now carried representatives from 12 different species who had joined the exploration initiative. Earth's willingness to share both technology and discovery opportunities had won them genuine respect throughout Council space. Ambassador Mitchell called a familiar voice. Lisa turned to see Jexnar approaching with several other representatives. The Reform Committee has reached consensus on the new classification system, the Zinthari announced. Your proposal for multi-factor evaluation has been accepted. Technology will remain important, but cultural development, diplomatic history, and ecological sustainability will now be equally weighted. Lisa smiled. That's excellent news. When will implementation begin? Immediately. The High Council approved it this morning. Jexnar's expression conveyed genuine respect. Your species continues to surprise us, Ambassador. Few would surrender the advantages of a high technological rating so willingly. We didn't surrender anything, Lisa replied. We simply recognize that measuring civilization by a single metric creates blind spots. The Void Collective proved that. Later that day, Lisa attended a ceremony in the Grand Assembly where Captain Greg Lawson of the GSV Horizon received a council commendation. The original ship that had brought humans to Nexus Station was being converted into a museum exhibit showcasing humanity's clever deception. The ship had 5 redundant systems that served no function except to look impressive to scanning technology, explained Greg to an amused audience. The engine room contained equipment that did absolutely nothing but produce convincing energy signatures. As laughter filled the chamber, Lisa felt a tap on her shoulder. High Commander Zaxil stood behind her, his expression uncharacteristically humble. Ambassador, my fleet commanders have requested additional training sessions with your military advisors. The combat simulations your team designed have identified critical weaknesses in our response patterns. Of course, Commander. I'll have Captain Matthews arrange it immediately. After Zaxil departed, Lisa checked her secure communicator. A message from Earth confirmed that President Daniels would arrive next week for the official signing of the new Council Charter. The document, largely drafted by Earth diplomats, established protection for developing civilizations and required technological assistance for species facing natural disasters. As Lisa looked around the chamber at representatives from hundreds of worlds engaged in animated conversation, she reflected on how quickly things had changed. Humanity's deception had been forgotten in light of their subsequent actions. They had offered protection without domination, advancement without exploitation. The Council had feared humanity would use their superior technology to seize control. Instead, humans had done something truly alien to the old Council mindset. They had used their power to create equality.